Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nadir. Here just talking to you guys from the Ven Vamos podcast. One of the first things I gotta say before we start anything is that I'm incredibly thankful and happy with all of the things that we've done here. Granted, the corona has absolutely terrorized our production, hurt our numbers, killed our work, and pretty much got us fired. It's okay. It's okay. As a 22-year-old, I can say that since I don't have any kids, I still live with my mom, and I don't even have like a doctorate or anything like that. I can tell you that the risk was well worth it. It's been an incredible ride, and I think everybody that lived in this house has worked with us, whether the beginning, the end, the middle, whatever. They can say that this has been absolutely a roller coaster, and I'd like to share a little bit of thoughts on my experience with you guys today. So, Ven Vamos was an opportunity presented to us through a network, through a client that we've already been working with in the past. Shout out to Mark Jacoby. He is somebody who has basically put on our organization across different states to help pass a variety of laws. The way how it works is pretty much interest groups, political action committees, organizations, sometimes companies, and just different organizations. They come together. They might work alone, individually, however, but they sponsor different initiatives. These are like ideas, right? So when you guys go out and vote, you'll be able to vote for people, but you'll also be able to go and vote out for ideas. Some of these ideas are better than others. Some make it, some never see the light of day, and some are trash, and they also make it and never see the light of day. So it all really depends. It's all based on funding as well. Not every single issue, as you can imagine, gets the same funding. Not the same thing here in California. To go against Amendment 5 AB 5 for the Uber drivers versus the stem cell research. Not all the different issues because of their classification, like at the level of government, right? So some issues are statewide, some are local, like, for example, for people back home in the city of Miami or city of San Diego, that would be like in this box, right? And it only applies to people in this box. But then if you go to the statewide stuff, it's everybody that's in the state, right? Including that box. It's been crazy. Absolutely bonkers. I want to really thank the OG3. Well, 4, including myself, but, I thank myself every day. Elias, George, Hans. Guys, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for taking that initial risk. We flew into San Diego Thanksgiving. I think that was the 28th of November 2019 when we landed in Los Angeles. We actually flew into Los Angeles because we didn't know what we were going to do. Honestly, if I would have known half of the shit that I know now, so many other decisions would have never been made. Like, I would have probably just driven here straight away instead of, like, renting a car, which, by the way, super expensive when you're not over 25, because apparently you have to pay $25 every single day because you're a minor or whatever, even though I was over 22 and I've had my license for well over 7 years now. But that's cool. No heat, whatever. Point is, in those 19 days that we rented a car, it was a Hyundai Sonata 4-door, okay? Gas mileage was pretty cool. It was like a half electric hybrid type of joint, and it was pretty nice. Because the gas here is crazy. Bruce right now takes about 60 every tank, and I fill him up about every 4 days. So it's a nightmare, but we out here living it. So yeah, it took about $2,000 to rent this car. That then, and this is one of the crazier stories. Our first day, I'm talking about, we are all at the airport. I go rent out the car. It's about like a mile away from the airport. I drive back to pick up the homies. But we got all these carry-ons, all these check-in bags, these big-ass bags. And we're like, yo, how are we going to fit this, including us 4, in this sedan? So we start playing like the Russian Boba doll game with our luggage. And we put all the luggage on top of stuff. And we basically tessellate the car's packed. Like, I'm talking about, like, the back mirrors have our shoes. We stuff the things at the bottom of the car. We had to even, like, put in some stuff like where the car extra tire spare was. And it was a mess. Point is, we get to San Diego super late to our hotel. Shout out to the client, Mark Jacoby, for putting us up for a week. It was incredible. He had us at the Wyndham right there in downtown, right by the water. Petitioning in downtown makes absolutely no sense because nobody's there. But it was a very nice view. We started going to schools because of the high volume. The petitioning game is unlike the door-to-door game for political campaigns because we don't really care about we care about the voter, of course, but we don't care how the voter gets there. or how we get to the voter. You know, when you go door to door, we have a list, we have all this information, and we only want to talk to the people on the list. Petitioning, completely different. All we care about is that, yo, you're a registered voter in the state of California. Big bet. You mind signing here, bro? Dale. But it's a change of strategy in the game, which has been also pretty refreshing when you think about all of the different projects that us as an organization have done in the past couple of years, mainly focused in political campaigning, helping individuals win elections. We've both worked with both Republicans and Democrats, but regardless of which campaign we've worked on, the one common theme has been that all of the candidates are fresh-faced individuals who want to make a positive change in the community. We definitely feel that we don't like working with scumbags. That's why we actually try and help work against the scumbags and recall them. Shout out Joe, one time for the one time. But yeah, coming back here to San Diego, okay, backtrack because I'm just like mental picture. Elias, George, Hans, guys, thank you. Okay, we go back to Miami, myself and Hans. It's basically the holiday season. There's a vacation in between, and then I come back for phase 2, say... Well, we drive. That's where Chris and Jason come into play. We drive across from Florida all the way to California, 2,559 or 58 miles, one of those two. A drive of a lifetime. Again, just... I'm very blessed to have been able to experience these things, because it is a little out of pocket, I think, but very well warranted, because when you're able to create, I don't know, like, I've had a lot of jobs, right? Like, my first job was working at Chipotle, right there on Coral Way and 37th Ave, and it was a cool experience. Right, as a 17-year-old, being able to make your own money, I felt like this sense of like accomplishment, like, yo, I'm like a functioning member of society. But little did I realize that, yo, I was giving them like 30 hours of my life, and I was making like $300, and I'm like, it don't add up. Not to say that, you know, I mean, petitioning definitely is a little bit better than working at Chipotle, but just like how to create wealth, how to do it on your own, it's been a really, really nice experience. It's been rough because there have been a lot of times where, like, for whatever reason, like, the cash flow doesn't come at the time that it does because whatever BS, like, coronavirus has backed up a bunch of stuff. But like, even before, you know, we've traveled a bunch, met a crazy amount of people, and that's precisely why we've had to shut down, because we talk to a million people. Like, every day, tens of thousands of people are going to get a pitch from us, whether it's at a Walmart, whether we're knocking on doors, whether we are whatever. Like, our very nature, the very thing that we do for a living, like, requires face-to-face human interaction, and you may or may not get a speck of, like, my spin on you. Like, you know, it'll happen. It happens to everybody, right? Like, I'm not here spitting on people, but, you know, when you're pitching a lot, you're just going loose. And it's not healthy for us, for the people that we talk to, that we try to change their minds, try to help them get registered, whatever we might be doing. But that's where this kind of comes in, right? Like, one door closes, but another can open. It's an opportunity out of defeat. I've always wanted to get into the podcasting scene. I've always wanted to keep this up. It's just hard because between all the other stuff that we do and then the whole technological gap, shout out to Javi for literally making this happen. If it wasn't for Javi coaching me through absolutely everything, giving me pointers, giving me ideas, being my personal consultant in this whole thing, that half of this would never happen. And just big ups to Javi, because he's going to cook this up. Like, I'm going to send this to him and he's going to edit it and it's going to be awesome. Thank you, Javi. But the real idea, what we wanted to do is we wanted to talk to you guys directly. We want to start doing Zoom calls. If you guys would be interested in it, shoot me a message. You guys already do. I mean, and I want to hear about your opinions. How's your life changed? How's this coronavirus affected you? That's pretty much going to be the starting focus, I'd say, for the first couple of episodes. Just how much has this corona really affected us? We're going to dig deeper into it. One of the things that I find that's really interesting is our generational differences between millennials and then Generation Z, right? Like, even though I call myself a millennial, according to Google, right, Gen Z is 1997 to 2012, and I was born in 1997, so I've been mislabeling myself this whole time. Probably you have too. So how our generation gets affected by this, because we can get sick by it just like anybody else. I know it affects old people and older people, or people with weaker immune systems and things like that, but we have a good role in being spreaders. Like, just from myself, if I look at what I do, I talk to thousands of people, and if I had corona, I would probably ruin a lot of lives. Like, I would spread that shit crazy just off of what I do, the amount of people that touch my pen, the amount of people that I would communicate with on a daily basis to sign a piece of paper. But not only that, like, what that means for us, like, does that mean that after this I'll be able to cop a crib and it'll be super cheap? Does that mean that I should invest in stocks because I'm broke and I have nothing to do, so I need to make money somehow? Does that mean that I'm gonna read up on books and educate myself and go back to school because what else is there to do? I don't know. It poses a lot of interesting things. I think the bigger concern is, how do you pay this crib if you don't make any bread? That's been my biggest concern, because if nobody in the house now is making any income, how do you pay your bills? How do you keep going? Shout out to the city of San Diego for not letting homies get evicted. That's nice. But yeah, that's gonna be our focus. I want to talk about not so much the political stuff, but yeah, the political stuff. I mean, everything's political at the end of the day. And I'll be a little bit more opinionated. I feel like when I started doing this type of stuff, I was like footing it, like I wasn't really taking sides, even though I have opinions too. And I'll definitely take my sides, and I would love it for people to have different sets of opinions. That way we can like find middle ground and compromise on all these things. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's it for this first episode. My name's Nadir. Please message me, say what's up. Let me know what you think. If you have any other topics or ideas that you want to be heard or want to be discussed, if you want to get on a Zoom call and we could do a little podcast session, that'd be dope too. And but guys, thank you so much for watching.
Hey, you just sat through the whole podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe and comment what your favorite part was. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Ven Vamos. If you're listening to this on the audio version, give us a 5-star rating. Thank you and have a great day.